Hey everybody, I am Blind Ryan, and we are going to do an accessibility deep dive of Disco Elysium. I should have done this sooner, but there were scheduling issues and other things. But I'm going to do it now, damn it, because I was watching my buddy DD Blue Zero last night playing Disco, and he seemed to really enjoy it in spite of itself. It had a lot of issues that I think can be ironed out, and I'm going to send this to the devs. A lot of the things I bring up are things that I've already talked about to individuals, but this way we'll be able to kind of have a central point. And I will also include a link to the list that I make in case anybody wants to look at it. So here's what I've already got. Controller tutorial, key binding, controller remapping, font scaling across the board, full narration, switch the dialogue side from left to right, and audio cues galore. Now, I'm thinking, for the blind. Hey! Sorry. I will fix that. Why is the voiceover so loud? Is it still loud? Oh, it's barely making any fucking noise at all now. So, you may be wondering why I have the screen the way I do, and that is to show an object lesson. The fonts need help. The fonts need a lot of help. So, we're going to turn on hardcore mode, because why the fuck would you play this in anything other than hardcore mode? Hardcore! Oh, and I need to get my controller so that I can... Alright. Yeah, let me know if I need to fuck with it anymore. This is gonna be an experience. So I've never actually used the controller to play the game, and I'm gonna come at this from a blind perspective as much as I can, because I know it's not ready for prime time in that regard. So we'll create our own character. So I did intellect and psyche last time, so this time I'm going to do motorics and physique. And I know I told Dom not to put ones in anything. Well, I'm a big brave balla. And also, this isn't a permanent playthrough. This is just kind of me fucking around. So, as you can see, that font is fucking tiny. That font needs to be fixed. There's a lot of those that really ought to be fixed. And, oh! That's something. Let's see. A button to replay / narrate a section. Skill. Summaries. Explanation of gear, etc. There we go. And we will take volition as our tagged skill so we don't immediately lose our mind. And again, let me know if the volume's fucked. That should be narrated. Oh! That's another thing I need to add. At the very beginning of the game, possible pre-game launcher prompt. Have option for narration blind mode. Because blind people need to be able to hear all the menu items. Need advice real quick, Discord. Revenant, machine gun, flamer shotgun, or what else? Ah, they get the Revenant! Ugh. Oh, fuck it, I'll just tell you. You'd hate the Revenant. It's basically a big, giant spray and pray. It's the worst spray and pray I've ever seen. It's like a gigantic chain gun. So I would just pick The Widow would probably be your best bet because it's similar to the Matic in terms of just point and click. But none of those are really going to do anything good for you. So let me just get back to my thing here. At the very beginning of the game, possible pre-game launcher prompt have option for narration or blind mode, because blind people will be able to hear all the menu items. As for console, I assume you would just add it to when the game starts. Alright.
There is nothing. Only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it. No larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore. Ever. Never. Ever.
Okay, these need to be narrated. As you go over them, they need to be narrated. It just otherwise, how the fuck are blind people going to know what they're choosing? I assume that's going to be added in. There's a lot of this that I assume is going to be added in that is just going to be repeats because I mentioned all of this, but I figure since I don't know what they're actually working on, I'll just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Widow it is. I actually use sniper rifles pretty extensively. Oh, there you go. Widow is basically a much stronger, much slower mantis. If you can pop heads with it with pretty good accuracy, that thing is going to do stupid damage. Oh, let's see. Never, ever, ever?
Never, ever, ever, baby. An inordinate amount of time passes. It is utterly void of struggle. No ex-wives are contained within it.
What was that about X something?
An awareness creeps up on you. A mass lies hidden in your dead angle, soaking in some lurid acidic sauce. It's bloated and shameful, a ball of meat surrounding you. This is a terrible line of questioning, and it will only lead to more awareness of the meat thing.
But as you can see, the funny thing is, it being on the right actually works in my favor because I'm blind in my left eye anyway, but it needs to be on either side. I mean, you should be able to press like L1 or R1 to be able to just flip it. Or maybe triangle or something, I don't know. Damn it, Dom, you got me used to PlayStation controls. You bastard. No, I want to know about the X something.
X-tenderness. It is foolish of you to resurface to the loss. Not after all the damage you suffered to get here. Some of it irreversible. Stay. Sail with me through the abyss of pelagic zone.
No, I want to get off now. I like pain and burning light and wanting things from people who don't want to give them to me.
Do you really?
I do. Let me off.
You wouldn't like it if I told you what was back there. Why'd you think you had to bludgeon yourself into oblivion? Or did you not sense yourself marinating? Poured so much on yourself, got a bit carried away, did we, Chef?
Wait, I did this to myself?
Yes. Your one disco mother.
Booyah. Tell me, what's waiting for me?
There's this giant ball there. And evil apes. And the evil apes are juking it out on the ball. You're one of them. It's basically all just evil apes juking it out on a giant ball.
How big is the ball?
You can't even make out it's a ball when you're juking it out. It's that large.
How small are the apes?
Infinitesimally small.
And this duking it out I keep hearing about, what's that?
Vying for resources. It's just a stupid expression you picked up somewhere. The part of the presentation you want to take home with you is this. You have to beat the other evil apes in the face, or you lose.
That sounds like something I'd like to do. Let's go.
Somewhere in the sore, bloated man meat around you. A sensation. Like a fly to the ointment, your conscience sticks to it. The limbed and headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is firing up again. It wants to walk the desert, hurting, longing, dancing to disco music.
Mother, help me. There's a head attached to my neck and I'm in it.
The stench of liquor rises from your mouth, and with it, an ungodly headache.
Help, someone, cut my head off. It's trying to murder the rest of me.
A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open. It's a sound, a clarion call from hell.
And see, the audio panning is good enough that I think they could add audio cues to the bubbles, to the interactable items. That's why I said audio cues galore, because if they can think to add an audio cue anywhere, they just need to add it, just straight up. Because their overall soundscape is already so good. Alright, let's see if I can figure out this fucking control scheme, because I was watching Dom have a hell of a time with it last night. Alright, so we move with the left stick. Smack, smack. Okay, that's how we zoom. Good. Oh! Okay. That's not bad at all. So you... Oh, you don't even have to use the fucking... You don't even have to use the left button. You can just use, you can just use the control stick. Ooh, haptic feedback. That's an idea. Let's see. Directional haptic feedback. Left, right. Up, down? I don't know the tech. For when you highlight something, or something is automatically highlighted for you if you guys decide to go that direction. There we go. Let's pick up our pants.
You hear a jingle. Keys are clinking in the pocket of your flare-cut pants.
Fish them out.
It says, whirling in rags, on the aluminium keyring. There is a single key on the ring. The number 1 is etched on it. It should open the door. This fan has 2 chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny fan, the other in a light bulb. A truly horrific necktie has somehow attached itself to one of the blades.
Pull on the fan.
The blades come squeaking to a halt. It should be easier to reach the tie now. You reach out to grab the tie, but what's this? Diffuse, radiating chest pain. Doom comes over you.
Grab your chest.
This is bad. Feels like sharp stones grinding in your chest and keeping you from moving for quite a long time. Still ongoing. Now is a good time to start worrying. Finally, the pressure recedes. You find yourself covered in cold sweat and trying not to move, hoping it will keep you from dying.
No horrific necktie for us. At least we got our badass blazer. Words fail to describe how rank it smells in here. They should have sent a poet. You see bottles in the bathtub. Wine, beer, and sweet liqueurs. Yeah, there definitely needs to be a tutorial for how to deal with the controller input. It's not as bad as I was afraid it would be. It's just really unintuitive if you don't know exactly what you're doing. And
the window stands broken in its frame.
And I managed
Cold wind blows in.
I managed to luck out, so...
What do you mean, assess the damage? How would you do that? What are you even trying to do?
This magnum-sized bottle of Commodore Red is empty. This reel-to-reel tape player is still on, rolling empty. Looks like someone tore the tape out while the song was playing. He doesn't need clothes. He'll find better clothes. There's something on the table.
Hello, officer.
Calendar says it's March. The year is 51. The smell of the sea makes you dizzy. A gust of briny wind washes over you. So that's interesting. Hey, Blue! I unequipped the shoe, and they're a pair. So will this be described, or is this a regular stream that's doing a deep dive? No, this is just a regular stream that's doing a deep dive. But yeah, I unequipped the shoe by going over here and just unequipping it, and now it's both shoes, because here are my stats. And there was no chance I got the visual calculus. The funny thing is, I failed to get my tie at a 92%. So okay, so I finally learned how this fucking game works. You use the right stick to highlight things, and that can be made that can be made audible with panning and haptic feedback. So that shouldn't be too difficult for them to put in.
Hello, officer.
The young woman raises a cigarette to her lips. Her eyes are brown and her face is speckled with birthmarks. She can't be more than 28.
Officer, am I military personnel?
No.
See, this is where it should be narrated. She seems perplexed by your question. Wait, I know. I'm a businessman. Chief executive officer, right?
The young woman shakes her head slowly.
Okay, chief technical officer?
No. You're a police officer, sir.
You're shitting me.
I'm not. Unless you've been shitting us all this time.
She takes another drag. All this time?
You've been here for 3 days. On official police business, no less.
And what business is that?
I couldn't say. In truth, so far, mostly drinking.
Try the expression on her. Let her know you want her, physically.
The words have already left your mouth.
I want to have fuck with you.
What was that? That's not even how words are used. What did you say? Come on, say it again.
I said I wanted to have sex with you.
No, you see, that's not what you said. You said...
But she's unable to finish. Consumed with
Come
laughter.
on, man. Freddie, please. One more time.
I said I want to have fuck with you.
Goddamn right you did. You crazy asshole, you. What kind of cop are you?
Superstar cop. I can no longer deny it.
Okay, that's cool. Or if I can just maybe ask you to elaborate on that superstardom a tiny bit.
I sincerely think I'm a superstar. It's a theory I'm developing.
I have certainly been entertained. Thank you. Whatever you are, you should stick to it. Otherwise, it's gonna suck for you later when you have to interrogate me. And for the record, no, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with everything. It's just gonna be pure insanity. I forgot to look at the mirror. I'm an idiot.
A mirror hangs above a bent and broken
Of
sun.
course, because he's a
In a
superstar.
fierce discharge of masculine energy, someone has ripped half the faucet off. Hot water sprays from the base and steam covers the mirror. You cannot see yourself, just the outline of a man. Suddenly, you realize you have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor.
Wipe the
As
mirror.
you slowly reach your hand towards the surface of the mirror,
Let's just get it over with. Wipe the mirror.
behold, you have no idea who this thing is, do you?
Of course I do. It's, some kind of superstar. I think I'm a superstar.
It appears you're also dead. There's clearly rigor mortis on your face. Oh wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? Why?
I think it might be because I'm a superstar.
Please stop. It's horrible.
No.
You're scaring yourself.
No, this is what superstars do.
You can't, can you? It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You have worn that grin into your face, and now it won't come off. What does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey?
Superstardom?
You should check yourself for a pulse, superstar. From here, it looks like a cadaverous spasm.
I don't need to. I almost died trying to get that tie, but I heard my heartbeat.
Getting clever appears to make the expression even worse. Now it's mixed with smugness.
Dig deep into your mind to locate the source of the expression.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
Attempt to stop the expression from happening.
It's too late. Like an image on film. The expression belongs to your primary motor cortex. It would take a minor neurological miracle for you to cease producing it.
It's like 51, but there was also... Well, dude, don't forget, this is a completely alien world to ours. It's like Earth, but not Earth. Which you will find out very shortly. But yeah, you just use the right stick, and then you can hold down the left button to highlight things, but you don't need to. Looks like she left a nice long stub in the ashtray. It still
You
smells.
should pick that
There's
fat,
smoking.
juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the living shit out of it.
Am I a smoker?
Who knows what you are? A monster, a murderer, the gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker, especially when you look at that juicy, succulent, seductive cigarette stub, still smoldering deliciously.
The funny thing is, I haven't actually written that much down. To recap for Blue, in case you missed it, I put controller tutorial, keybind and controller remapping, font scaling across the board, full narration, switch dialogue side left right, audio cues galore, a button to replay or narrate a section, skill summaries, explanation of gear, etc. Hang on. Specific sections of dialogue, etc. I can't spell. Choices, etc. At the very beginning of the game, possible pre-launcher prompt. Have option for narration/blind mode because blind people need to be able to hear all the menu items. As for console, I assume you just add it when the game starts. And then directional haptic feedback, left, right, up, down, I don't know the tech, for when you highlight something or something is automatically highlighted for you if you guys decide to go that direction. So, I mean, there's not really... there's not really that much they have to do, but... especially to make it blind playable, but actually getting it done, that's going to be a bitch. But if they manage to get it done, I've promised them that, and I've promised everyone else, that I will play a full playthrough of this completely blindfolded, aka I'll have my monitor off so I can't see what I'm doing. But you broke the filter, I can't smoke that.
How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette, or better yet, an entire pack. Strike that. A carton. Make sure they're all healthy and able-bodied. Then smoke them all.
I'll make it priority 1.
Good. They'll make you stronger and better. You're too old to be cool now. But find cigarettes, smoke them, blam. Instantly a cool renegade man. A mystical red dragon with smoke rising from his nostrils. Plus, Smoking then gives massive bonuses.
This is the weekend edition of the satirical newspaper Trompe le Monde. And yes, I know my French is horrible, and I'm fine with that. Ooh, got another one. Optional for the blind, obviously. Descriptional narration. Where are you? What is shown on screen? Etc. This is a rundown cafeteria. There is a person on the counter to the northwest and off to the west. Upper a woman in a wheelchair and a man in a bomber cap. And so alright, there we go. No, 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 I don't want to do that. This is where the lyrics would be. A big old karaoke mic just waiting for someone to sing it. This speaker's connected to the radio. The music is seasoned with static.
A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance, then looks down again. Everything is cool between you and this guy. He's a big fan. Make some small talk.
Are you the bartender?
No, I'm not the bartender. I'm the cafeteria manager.
He's very animated all of a sudden. This seems like a touchy subject.
You look like a bartender.
That period of my life is over. Not everyone who stands behind a counter is a bartender, okay? I'm the cafeteria manager.
What's the difference?
I have 3 cafeterias to manage. 3. Sylvie tends the bar here, not me. I'm only standing in.
Where did this Sylvie go?
She just, you know.
Look at the stuffed bird.
A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs. One of its wings broken. The man is trying to mend it. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall. A small engraved steel tag says, "The Great Skua, Ste Koari's Skua."
What happened to the bird?
Look, your buddy is over there.
He looks at the doors where a man in a bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor.
Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
What do you mean, my buddy?
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the bird instead.
This is a water cooler. The soft purr of an electric juicer comes from the kitchen. Something's working. The menu has been wiped clean. Only the word Mondays is on. Things! Inside you catch a glimpse of union paraphernalia, strike posters, and red pennants. A sign reads Mess Hall for reserved for union members. Doors open 1600. This Royal pinball machine is unplugged. A bottle of rum has been knocked over. Beautiful, dark liquid is spilling out. This is weird. You'd think they'd narrate this. A man sleeping at a table wearing mud-caked boots and rolled-down overalls. The back of his shirt reads Wild Pine, encircled by a logo with a tree.
A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
Pick up the pills.
The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
Inspect the piece of plastic on his carbineer.
It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John.
Let's try to steal it.
Your fingers find their way into the shackle, flicking open its spring-loaded gate. The metal loop holds the plastic ID and a leather-bound pocketbook.
And the man?
The man emits a loud snore. Is he about to wake up? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Better be quick.
Swipe the pocketbook and take what is inside.
You find a black paper note with a woman's profile on it. Seems like this woman lived centuries ago. The note says 5 real. It feels nice and greasy.
Steal the document.
You slip the plastic ID card out of the loop and pocket it. The man continues to snore.
Close the carbineer.
The sleeping dock worker has little to say about your actions. He remains silent.
Let's try to wake him up.
You gently shake his shoulder, but nothing happens.
No, I want to go this way.
A bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's waiting for someone. As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in greeting. On the sleeve of his bomber jacket, as well as on its back, are the same enigmatic white rectangles as on your blazer.
Hey, Chippy.
Hello. I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name.
Invent a name for yourself.
Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau.
It's so cool.
Yes, it is. Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau is one classy name for one classy cop. Say it.
My name is Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau.
Yes, well,
He doesn't even process what you said. He just moves on.
it looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had time to talk to the manager here?
You mean him? Nod towards the cafeteria manager. Yeah, I just talked to him.
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area. Now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back, right? It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews?
I haven't.
Okay, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case. Have you removed the dead body from the tree?
No.
So, the body is still in the tree, where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner.
What a shame. Get to it now. Rip that body down from the tree.
Don't worry about the body. I'll rip it down.
After it's been up in a tree for that long, any kind of ripping is inadvisable.
Delicate goods, filled with stinking horrors.
After you, officer.
If you're about to embark on an investigation, shouldn't you have a badge?
Wait, shouldn't I have a badge or something?
You mean you don't have a badge?
Check your undies. I didn't notice that before. It wasn't on me when I woke up.
Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I advise you to try to locate it as quickly as possible. But getting the body down should still take precedence.
All right, come on now. If he hasn't said anything about your lack of pants, no one will. You're only hurting yourself by not wearing them.
Come on, where the fuck is it? There we go.
The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Gart, right? You run this place.
Yes.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41?
Detective Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau.
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also took you a while to call us and report the dead body. It was you who placed the call, yes?
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here. I'm only temporarily taking over her duties.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
He looks behind a hot pile of coasters, finds a slip of paper, and hands it to the lieutenant.
This sounds like something you can use to call this Sylvie later.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many cafeterias I manage.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need directions.
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
I didn't imply that. Detective,
Yes?
I have everything. You?
Oh, you mean do I have questions? Ask them.
Yes, he means, do you have questions for me, like a police officer would?
Why did Sylvie go away?
She went away because none of your business.
This is the second time you've avoided the subject.
Oh my god, what is your obsession with this Sylvie person? Get over it.
Where exactly is the body?
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. They hoisted him up on a tree there.
And how do we get there then?
That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the keys. The hole is big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry to fit through.
Oh, Seb, I'm actually taking a break from Mass Effect for a little bit. I'm doing a deep dive into a game called Disco Elysium. And I'm going to send this video to the developers on how they can help make it completely blind playable. And one of the first things they need to make it blind playable is full narration. All of it. And I'm not saying they have to hire voice actors. I'm saying they can just have a computer voice read it. I don't give a shit. But they've got to find some way to convey the information that is not already being conveyed.
I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job.
He doesn't know. He just said they hoisted him up on a tree. Who is this they?
Before you said they hoisted him up on a tree, who did you mean by they?
Oh, people are saying it was the union dock workers. That it was a lynching.
Who exactly is saying that?
The locals, the customers, the people who eat here. A lot of dock workers eat here. Sylvie told me everyone knows the dock workers did it.
It's like... They say full voice acting, but it's like 80% narrated, I guess. They don't narrate any of the choices. The game is controllable with a controller, which I'm using right now to prove that it can be done. And to kind of put myself in the shoes of what you guys would be going through when you decide to play it. If they had haptic feedback, when you had a bubble above your head, when there were bubbles that you needed to click on, or if they had like an audio ping every time the bubble popped up, then you'd be able to do that. I mean, honestly, this is a game that you could, not at the moment, but it is very close to being blind playable as it is. The voice acting has helped with that. The narration will help more. The controlling, being able to use a controller, it helps a lot. It's just a matter of getting the information from the game to blind people in such a way that blind people can follow it without having to use OCR. Because OCR is a pain in the ass that nobody likes to use unless they have to.
Did the debarders themselves tell her this, or is it a rumor?
I don't really know. You'll have to ask her.
Why did the dock workers lynch this man?
I would suppose it's because they have nothing better to do.
You mean the strike?
Yes, the strike. The man they hanged was a security guard for the harbor company, I hear. A mercenary. The unionistas probably thought they'd send a message.
Jesus Christ, I've never had that happen before because I've never played with high physical and high motorics. So, to give you an idea, Dom, you don't find this stuff out if you're playing a smart guy until way later.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real.
Slip away unnoticed. He just ran
As
away.
you blow this joint, Behind you, a whiny voice shouts.
Real mature, man. Real mature.
Wait, it didn't actually leave. Can I go back to him? I want to look up that drink. There it is.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
Pretty long. It's drink o'clock.
Attaboy. It's coming back to him. You had your mesolimbic reward pathway worried there, not thinking about drinking all that time. It was like you weren't yourself.
That's awesome. The game seems interesting. Hopefully they had the features you mentioned in them. I do. I hope too. That's why I'm making the video, to hopefully give them some direction, or... I mean, hell, they might already have done all of this. This might all be in some beta branch or something that I'm not aware of. I might just be covering over old ground. But the point of the matter is, if they know what needs to be added the most, they can tell what needs to be focused on the most. Like, getting the game narrated, getting the audio cues in, that is as important as getting the controls up. Or it was, back before they had, controller support. Because originally this was mouse-based. And blind people can't use mice, obviously. So, getting the controller thing out of the way, that was a huge step. Getting in 90% of the game, 80% of the game voice casted, I didn't even think they would do that. I thought they would just use a computer voice. So, they've already made great strides. They want this thing to be blind playable because they want everybody to experience the game. Because the writing is just that fucking good, and they're proud of it, and they should be proud of it. It's just, I want to help them get from A to B. And I feel like this stream will help them get from A to B. And if you have any input, for God's sakes, let me know. You're a blind gamer. You'd know more than me. My thinking is if they add pings for all the little things that you have to click on, if they add narration, if they add like audio descriptions when you're in a new area, if they add a way to repeat the things that you're hearing, if they add rebindable keys, for partially sighted people, I'm playing the game in a smaller window so that I'm hoping the devs will see that, look, some of these fonts, like this one over here, way too small. Where is it? Oh, I can't actually go to my other menus while I'm in the thing. Let's see. It was like you weren't yourself. Now that you mention it, I do need a rum and lemonade. I'd love for Gart to serve me up a beverage. Just observe and let me know if you can think of anything that I haven't said that you think would be helpful for blind people to be able to play this game. Because my thinking is, blind people need to know where they are. They need to know, like, what's in... Because it's a room-based thing, map-based. So you're in different rooms. Like, currently you're downstairs on the ground floor of the hostel that you're in, and you've got some tables, you've got a dock worker sleeping, you've got a lady in a wheelchair, you've got the guy behind the counter, you've got some doors you can't get into. All that stuff should be described as you're in the area. Or, like, bits and pieces, like, the guy sleeping on the bar counter. He is to the southwest of you, or something like that. Something simple like that. But my thinking is, if they can get the narration down to where you know where you are, you know where you can go, and then there are these little bubbles that you can click that give you little lore bits, and either they can be automatically clicked for you, or ideally they would just ping whenever you find one, and because the stereoscaping is so good, if it's to the left, it'll ping in your left ear. If it's to the right, it'll ping in your right ear. That way you'll know, oh, okay, a thing is this way. And then the way the controller works is you just keep tapping on the right stick until you find whatever you want to deal with. And that's easy enough. You just add a ping every time you do that, so it gives you an idea of where you're going. Maybe it gives you a little bit of narration. Pair of pants, ping, shirt, ping, drink, ping, that kind of thing. It's not like it'd be difficult to... It's not like it's difficult from a conceptual level. It would be probably extremely difficult to implement, which is why I'm surprised that they want to. But it's like, hey, if you guys want to go all in, I will help you out as much as I can. Anyway.
Forget about the bar. Or don't forget about it. You should totally try to get a drink there too. But first, you should lick that stain off the counter. Yeah, man. Let's get wild. Lick it.
Sounds like Hades really helped blind players know where we are. They have a sound for each part of the house, for example. Yeah, and that's a good point. And then that mod added sounds for the doorways. And, well, like I had said, Seb, I had asked the devs for Hades to add a lot of that shit in, and they just didn't. So a mod maker had to do it, which, great. But, I mean, now with Zaum, we've got devs that are willing to give it a try. They just need to know what they need to do, where they need to do it, how much this needs to be prioritized over something else, for example. So, I'm hoping that this rambling mess of a video will give them some insight. Lick it.
Calmly, the lieutenant looks out of the window, then to you, licking the tasty rum stain off the counter, then out of the window again.
What are you doing?
I'm an alcoholic. I needed to get my hit.
We should move.
A real drink would go well with those cigarettes you're looking for. That's a great combination.
Let's talk to the old lady.
Hello, sweetie.
Wait, who's Sweetie?
Does that mean you like me?
You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin. But dear, you're not for me. I'm too old and too married besides. You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I completely forgot to introduce myself. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
You seem to be in a chair.
Yes, dear. I'm a paraplegic.
Could I become a paraplegic?
I hope not. Although the work you are doing for all of us is quite dangerous.
Nod grimly. Someone has to do it.
But not you. You're volunteering. So thank you, sweetie.
So you volunteered sometime in the past for the beatdown and hell of bullets? So very you.
What's a paraplegic?
It means I can't use my legs. I was in an accident some years back, injured in the line of duty, as they say.
Were you a rugby player?
Oh no, far from it. Although, I did come out to watch the boys play when I was in school. Oh, those tan calves.
She blushes, surprised by her own boldness.
What did you do then?
I was a training and development manager at a rapidly expanding mail order shoe company. You'd think it would be a safe job, but I had to be everywhere, and, well, once I happened to be under some faulty scaffolding. I was lucky. This was almost 20 years ago, and I was compensated exceptionally well. One can only dream of such payoffs nowadays.
She runs her hand over the chrome wheels of her chair. Thanks for clearing that up for me. Let's move on.
No problem.
How'd you like to roll with me?
Whatever do you mean?
I want you to be my wheelchaired partner in crime, ridding backyards of corpses, catching sequence killers. No, it does not have combat. It is one of the very few games that does not have any combat to speak of. This is all dice rolls. This is basically single-player D&D. And it's fucking glorious. A game like this has to have good writing. It is imperative that it has good writing. It is the exact same as having a good combat system in something like Hades. It is the primary engagement of the player, so it has to be perfect. And this writing is fucking amazing, as you probably can tell. Gadget sequence killers.
Sequence killers? Oh my. But I think you already have a partner, sweetie.
A partner who needs you to help him get a corpse down from a tree.
I know, but there are side mysteries, sequence killers, and forays into the paranormal.
I can assure you with absolute certainty, there are no sequence killings taking place in Martinez.
Now, gentlemen, no need to squabble. I wouldn't be of much use to you anyway, sweetie.
Why? 3 heads are better than 2.
Thank you, but Martinez isn't the most wheelchair-accessible place, you see. I'd slow you down. Perhaps another time. Of course, dear. Good luck with your case.
Okay. So as for other things that are a bit too small, the descriptions and the stat buffs over to the right here, those need to be bigger or narrated. There needs to be like a button for that.
hello again, sweetie.
I mean, games like Last of Us 2 made a great job. Feels so great being able to kill armies with a rifle, or zombies with rifles. Yeah, and I give that accessibility team all the credit in the world for what they did with Last of Us 2. That is, they did an amazing job, just a stupendous job. It's not my kind of game personally. I'm not a big cinematic guy, just in general. It's just not my cup of tea. But I think that if we could make this game accessible, if I could help them make this game accessible, this game would be a much better entry point to a certain subset of blind people who are looking to get into gaming, because not even blind people. Some people want to move at a slower pace. Some people just do not have the reaction time to be able to pop zombies' heads in 60 frames per second and shit like that, right? So something a little bit slower paced and a bit more cerebral like this, I think would appeal to more blind people overall, whereas something like The Last of Us 2 would appeal to more blind gamers overall, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking something like this would have more mass appeal, even if it's just a little more mass appeal. Plus, I just really like this game. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I mean, everybody's got their own thing, right? It's just, I think this has something that can give to the community, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know where I am or what I'm doing or anything.
Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. Like a stunned fox. But surely things can't be that bad.
I drank so hard I forgot literally everything.
Oh my. You know where we are, right?
The Whirling in Rags cafeteria, it was on my keys.
That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria itself located?
In hell. We're all in hell.
We're in the city of Revachol, dear.
Okay.
Yes, and Revachol?
Honestly, I don't know diddly squat about Revachol. What kind of place is this?
How would I even begin to tell you? Revachol is the most beautiful city in the world. We're fortunate to be here, you and I. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Revachol is a rare jewel. This city used to rule the world, though it has seen better days.
There's a pause as she studies your expression. You must have quite lost.
Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes?
It's the spring of 51.
That's right, dear. How splendid. Here, take this pen. Knowledge should always be rewarded.
Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty worried about you there, but now she relaxes her shoulders.
Okay, I love how they're raising awareness with the whole accessibility wheelchair conversation, and yeah, I agree, like you said yesterday, choices are key. Fun fact about the wheelchair thing. According to TV tropes, so I can't guarantee this is 100% true, they left that in as an in-joke. Originally, she was going to be a third-party member, but they were having trouble logistically coming up with ways to get her through the game, because the game has a bunch of stairs. There aren't any elevators, so getting her into those upstairs areas would be an absolute fucking nightmare. And they couldn't get it to kick over, so they just left it in as an in-joke. At least that's what they say on TV tropes. I can't verify that's true. I haven't asked the devs or anything, so...
Outside, the melting snow seeps into the cracks in the walls and the cobblestone streets, all the way down into the sewers. Above ground, the first maybells blossom. You can feel it, a great cold. Then the shiver passes.
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government?
We have choices. Some kind of democracy, maybe? I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat, but something tells me it's not. Our leaders are fierce warriors who traverse the plain on steeds. Civilization cowers before us. We are governed by intelligent machines that perform calculations to determine the freest market. Everyone hustles and grinds like a badass visionary. Radios are being used to control people's minds and distort our perception of reality, concealing our true masters, foreigners, and women. Cop, we're living under the cop regime. I'm picking the fucking women one. Just because it's the most ridiculous.
Oh no. Nothing like that, dear. Revachol is a zone of control led by an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. We have almost no government of our own, and certainly no matriarchy.
She's trying to avoid the foreigner's part. This is because she's a woman. She may be lying to you.
Fucking endurance. If there's no government, how come there are cops?
Oh dear, this is troubling. You really ought to know that, being one yourself. There aren't any cops in Revachol, not in the traditional sense. The status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution. But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things to anyone.
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
What is this revolution you mentioned?
A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it, so they came and ended it. This was 42 years ago.
But I'm a cop. Whatever it is hasn't stopped me.
Of course, sweetie. I really don't know how to explain it better.
So Seb, the developers have used this setting for a role-playing campaign, so they've really fleshed it out. This is an alternate world. And it's the year 51, and that's all we've got, and that we're in Revachol. And that's pretty much it. So how did I do?
You didn't do too well, dear. You really only knew what year it is. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things. History and places. Reality, in a word. It's very odd.
A sigh. The lieutenant buries his nose in his notebook.
But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what the world needs. And while I'm no doctor, such bouts of amnesia are often temporary, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Who could tell me more?
Someone more educated in sweeping matters. Maybe you should ask.
No. I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective.
Of course. Then I don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Wealthy people are educated. Though I don't know where you would find a wealthy person in Martinez.
That's a good point. This doesn't look like Rich Central.
Let's talk to Kim.
Yes?
Tell me about the case.
What do you want to know?
Literally anything about it. I can't remember anything.
Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit.
The guy behind the counter thinks some union people hanged a man.
Then you are not that far behind, actually. Do you want me to brief you?
Yes, brief. That sounds good.
3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate.
Remember, Dom, this is a murder mystery. You have to talk to everyone. You have to put your detective hat on.
During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute.
Wait, does the briefing say who the victim was?
A security guard or worker of some sort hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth.
Why didn't we know anything about the caller?
They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex.
Why hide themselves?
There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that.
Hold on, and the RCM is?
That's us, the Revachol Citizens Militia. We're the police in this city.
Let me make this perfectly clear. Our job here is to find the killer.
That's right.
Would you say this is a mysterious case?
No, it's
Why
not a
not?
particularly mysterious case.
Why not?
The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that.
Okay, so maybe the case isn't mysterious, but it could be sexy.
There was some interest in this case at my station, but not for the reasons you have in mind. You seem to wish there was
Cut this boring stuff off immediately. You know what this case is about.
Maybe there's a young woman involved.
Yes, it just so happens there's a beautiful blonde 19-year-old woman at the heart of this case. A rich one, in fact. Part of a murder sex cult.
Wow, really? That's mega sexy.
No, not really. Was there anything else?
He's basically challenging you to sex it up with some lurid twist. Don't get right into it. Sit on it a bit. Then hit him with it.
If we're from different precincts, why are we in the same case?
I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition.
What do you mean?
You don't know? I assumed you were in on it.
You know what I'm in on? Retrograde amnesia.
Better still than an imbecilic cop-off.
Cop off?
It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Was there anything else you wanted to know about the... Good.
I think you should know I can't remember anything.
No response. He just arches his brow.
I really don't remember anything. There was drinking involved.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
So what should I concentrate on?
Try work. The case at hand. It can work miracles.
What's wrong with personal affairs?
Not a fan. It's just the nature of lieutenancy.
But I'm completely lacking in basic information about even this organization we're in. Can you help me?
Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation.
I'm afraid this is a medical situation.
Really? You look fine to me.
I'm talking serious, unbelievable damage here. I saw myself in the mirror and had no idea who I was.
This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
It's not psychological. Some sort of major brain damage has occurred on an unprecedented scale.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted?
Convince Kim there's a sexy dark mystery twist in this case.
Only banal things strike you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul, one you should be ashamed of. It's no wonder the soft one doesn't want it back. It was right to abandon you.
I want to talk about you.
Me?
Yes,
I don't
you.
see how my life is pertinent to the investigation.
We'll work better if we have more rapport.
That's a fair point. Alright, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know?
You're wearing glasses.
That's correct.
That makes him a binoclard. Completely uncopped material, if you say so yourself.
Oh god, I can actually call him a binoclard. Fuck it, why not? I'm gonna be an asshole. I didn't know they let binoclards become cops.
I can assure you, detective, that I've passed all the required physical exams within the last year. Can you say the same?
You may not remember taking any little tests, but you're strong as a goddamn ox. Anyone can see that.
Flex your bicep, check it. I was made to crack skulls and solve cases.
Just because your precinct has a reputation for cracking skulls doesn't mean that's the only way to solve a case. Was there anything else?
You don't look like other people around here.
That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic.
What is Seoul?
It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity, and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
You're only making it sound uninteresting. I still want to know more about Seoul.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
Tell me a secret about yourself.
No.
Oh, okay.
The lieutenant nods.
Do you ever talk with yourself?
What do you mean?
You know, like when you're thinking, do you ever have conversations with, like, your brain?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're saying your brain just never chimes in with warnings or anything?
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just use my notebook.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. You're super lucid, yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to your nervous system. You're special.
Good. Let's change the subject.
You seem to be following me.
Excuse me?
What if I want to work this case alone?
Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've misplaced your badge. I cannot let you act in the name of the RCM without supervision until you've regained control of your faculties.
But what if I need some me time?
Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself.
Okay, I'll leave the self-care for non-work hours.
Please do. We wouldn't want your regiment to spill over into the investigation.
That is way different than the first playthrough. Alright, so let's do what Mr. Dom did and go to the car. What's this?
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Rivershore. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hair. Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world. Water runs down your bare chest. The cold finds its way under your skin. You shiver, and the city shivers with you. You're not dressed for this weather. You should get an overcoat or a patrol cloak.
What's in the west?
Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinez. With its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
Who are you, ghosts?
The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows.
What's down the shore?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
And beyond that?
Coal City, end of all lines.
Run your fingers through dampened hair. Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the darkness. That should have been narrated.
There's a fleet on the corner. A plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window. Beyond that, the strike breakers have gathered.
Hey, Blind Press, have some bits. Also, I've never heard of this game. Sounds interesting. This is a game called Disco Elysium. There's no combat in it. It has been released for the PS4, PS5. It's basically a visual novel. It's basically solo D&D. It's all dice rolls, and it's fucking hilarious, and it's great. And I think you'd really like it, and I really want the devs to get it blind playable. So I am doing a deep dive and let's play while I come up with more things to ask them to add. If you want to give me suggestions, I will add it to the list that I have. But here's what I've got so far. I've got controller tutorial, because you can use the controller. Keyboard controller remapping, because there is no keyboard or controller remapping yet. Font scaling across the board, because some of the fonts are really small. Full narration, because as you heard, some of the stuff isn't narrated yet. Most of it is, but some of it isn't. Switching the dialogue, because the dialogue comes on the right side, and some people would prefer it, show up on the left side of the screen. Audio cues galore. It needs tons of audio cues if it's going to be blind playable. A button to replay or narrate a section, skill summaries, explanation of gears, specific sections of dialogue, choices, etc. At the very beginning of the game, possible pre-game launcher prompts have option for narration or blind mode, because blind people need to be able to hear all the menu items and all the things ever. As for consoles, I'd assume you just add it when the game starts. Directional haptic feedback, like rumble and stuff. Left, right, up, down. I'm not sure the tech. For when you highlight something or something is automatically highlighted for you if you guys decide to go that direction. Optional for the blind, obviously. Descriptional narration. Where are you? What is shown on screen, etc. This is a rundown cafeteria. There is a person behind the counter to the northwest, and off to the west proper are a woman in a wheelchair and a man in a bomber jacket, and so on. And that's what I've got so far. So if you can come up with anything else, I would greatly appreciate it, BP.
The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide.
Shake your shoulders again.
You shudder, looking down at your feet. Dirty rainwater runs veins into the plaza's snow. You realize you have no shoes on. Your feet are red with cold. From the corner of his eye, the lieutenant gives your feet a worried glance. Rain drips from his glasses.
It's cool. I'm in control.
The lieutenant nods, then looks east.
What is there?
Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and immeasurable poverty in its shadow.
That's my hope. That's my hope, BP. They're pretty descriptive in what they do narrate. Hopefully they are open to adding more. Exactly. And they came to me. I did a stream a year ago, if you might remember it, where I read everything, because back then they didn't have they didn't even have partial narration. So I ended up reading everything because I wanted blind people to experience it. You know, same as my Mass Effect playthrough. And one of their people tapped me to give them ideas. And this is what I'm doing. They've released their final cut back in March. I'm giving them ideas. And I'm hoping that... Because I figure... I know they're working on something. My hope is that with this, I can give them direction. Goodness. And beyond that...
La Drusienne, King Dri's passenger harbor. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary.
What's across the distributary?
Kuron, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain.
So, BP, in a few minutes, you're going to hear one of, bar none, the best natural conversations I've ever heard in a video game. What is beyond the Quran?
A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide.
What's in the north? No, what I'm talking about is when we get the radio. So once we get to the radio, you're gonna hear some hilarious shit.
Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play.
And closer to here?
A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Coal leaks into a puddle beneath a dead man's feet. He swings from a tree, bloated. Droplets of rain slip from his cold cheeks.
What's in the south?
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised.
I want to thank Seb and BP for showing up. I was really hoping at least one blind person would show up so that the devs will know that there is still interest and that hopefully one or two of you could come up with ideas that I haven't thought of, because I am playing this as a sighted person. I mean, I don't have much sight, but I do have some sight. Oh no! Does it ever not rain here? With Dom last night, DD Blue Zero, he got snow, the lucky son of a bitch. Checking in to say, man, you get through games so fast. What's on the other side?
The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock.
So where I'm going to stop is the same place where you stopped. I'm going to stop after the phone conversation, Dom, so that you know you're not seeing any spoilers and stuff. And honestly, I've played long enough that I think they'll get the idea of what I'm going for here, because I've kind of repeated myself a few times. And yeah, Dom, I've never gotten snow. I always end up getting rain. So yeah, you got a rare one.
Revachol is the capital of the world. Jamrock is the capital of Revachol. Droplets form on your eyelashes.
Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at?
Have a brother in the cut. Where the hood at?
Ah, ah, ah. That was the city itself. Shudder, look further.
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink.
What is above?
Coalition aerostatics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
What's below?
Collapsed storm drains, old sewage systems flooded with rainwater. Hidden weapon caches from the Revolution. Doors leading down to Le Royaume. The catacombs to which, for 3 centuries, they delivered the blue-blooded dead.
Motherfucker.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. You should get a raincoat. There's a freight to the east. They sell them there.
To the car.
Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57. Vapor emanates from the large engine on the back of the vehicle. It hasn't had time to cool off yet. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you.
Pull out the radio.
The frequency tableau lights up, and a green button labeled Prime Line glows like a feline eye. And then you hear something. The soft purr of electrical kittens. Radio waves cast far and wide over the metropolis. A woman's voice greets you through the static.
This is Precinct 57. Hello, Lieutenant. How may I assist you?
Hello, Alice. Please assist our colleague from the 41st precinct here. I'm putting him on.
Operating the radio is easy. Just be confident. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
Hi, Alice. This is the officer from 41st Precinct speaking. Nice to meet you.
This is Officer Alice Demetri, Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Under the green Prime Line, a yellow saved button catches your eye. I wonder what Kim's default radio station is.
I got it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Ignore Alice and push the button marked saved. I'm trying to convince Kay to let me do a stream where she plays and all I do is live translate the entire game into Japanese. That would be fucking awesome, and I would send it to them. You know I would send it to them.
As always, it's DJ Mesh and Felicio, and you're listening to Street Freaks FM, bringing you the hottest, the nastiest, the most vulgar.
A flock of seagulls takes off nearby, startled by the roaring radio.
Oh, Kim. I had no idea. Son of a bitch. That was worth it.
Right away, the lieutenant reaches into the cabin and turns off the radio. He's not looking at you as he says,
Someone must have been messing with the radio, or maybe it picked up a random frequency. You wanted a prime line, right?
Speed Freaks FM, huh? Look him in the eye.
Oh, is that what it was called?
He's trying hard not to act surprised.
Go for it. Turn the radio back on while it's still on the Speed Freaks FM.
Pick up the radio again. Damn, I love this game. It really caught me off guard. This is fun, and I'm not even super worried about spoilers because of how different your choices are. That was kind of my idea.
Souped up motor carriage for one bad mama's boy. For the heavier foot and the freaky end.
God damn it!
The lieutenant moves quick as a viper as he switches off the radio and sets it on prime line. Then he turns to you.
Look, it helps me to stay alert on long nights, okay? It's a method. I'm not some kind of speed freak or...
He shakes his head, furiously staring at his feet. What about heavy of foot?
You would be too if you had this motor carriage.
He snaps half seriously.
But seriously, let's quit joking around, alright? We have a case to investigate.
This is Precinct 57. Can I connect you to someone?
I was told I needed to... No, I'm not going to do that one because you didn't do that one. Could you connect me to the 41st Precinct? I have something I need to report.
Just a second, officer.
She puts you on hold, the static crackling softly like a bonfire. After a while, you hear an old man greet you from the radio. His rattly voice is all oddly familiar.
10-2, 10-5. This is 41st. Come in. Over.
Hi, this is me here. I work at your station.
10-4. What's your status? Over.
It's not good.
10-18. 10-20. Over.
Just please talk human to me. These numbers mean nothing to me.
State your message, sir. Over.
I need to report my badge missing.
10-9. Repeat message. Over.
My badge. I can't find it anywhere. Basically, it's gone.
10-4. Message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 10-22 the captain. Over.
Let's quit joking around, he says, while admitting to listening to a station called Speed Freaks FM. I'm glad I got to catch your version of this part, right?
1022, the captain. This sounds bad. Bad and scary. Like being called to the headmaster's office in school.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Haha, officer's lost his badge. Haha, like I'm the first cop to ever misplace his badge.
He says this has probably happened to other policemen before him and laughs sarcastically.
Oh goddamn it! Is he fucking kidding? The whole station's gonna be dicked for this.
Satellite Officer Vikmar is wondering if you might be joking and adds that this tarnishes the reputation of the entire station. Over.
The accent makes it so much better.
Mullen dicked us.
Come on, operator, tell him to stop. This is serious.
He's asking you to stop, says this is serious.
Of course it's serious. He lost his fucking badge.
Satellite Officer Vikmar concurs, losing your badge is serious. Over.
Hey, son. I'm doing an accessibility deep dive. Can't we move on? I want to get it reported and be done with it.
10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced
Ooh, we got
badge. Over.
We got a skill point.
Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got to hear this. Dick Mullen lost his badge.
What's going on?
Super Cop here lost his badge.
He lost his what now? His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Could you all please stop saying lost his badge for a moment?
He asks you to please stop saying he lost his badge.
Why? Did he find it?
The room at the other end of the line erupts into volcanic laughter.
Sergeant Person was wondering if you found your badge yet. Over.
You don't have a comeback. Sorry. It's hard to think like this.
He's not replying. Looks like he's still looking for it.
Enough of this now. I have other things to discuss.
10-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
The animated conversation in the back is making it difficult for him to hear you.
New heights even for Captain Sober.
Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun too.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun too. Over.
Check your pockets. Check your... Holy fuck. You don't know where it is, do you?
I don't have my gun?
No. It's gone. It's not fucking on you.
I am playing with a controller, Blue. I wanted to go through it myself and see how difficult it was. Actually, I managed to stumble into how to play it. You just flick the right stick until you find what you want. Love the fact that cops both have smarmy French accents and typical New York City cop accents. I just love how natural the conversation is.
10-9, come in, officer. Did you get my question? We were wondering about your gun. Over.
Even before you can get the words out, everything gets scrambled in your brain.
No, of course I didn't lose my gun. Fuck it, I didn't lose my gun.
He says he didn't lose his gun. Or his fun, whatever that means.
Ask him to describe it. His gun. Not his fun. Just the gun will do.
Satellite Officer McLean requests a description of your weapon. Over.
The fuck do you need a gun for? Look at the pythons on your arms. You are a gun. The biggest one in the world.
No, we got a couple of choices here. Whisper to the Lieutenant, Kim, what are you packing? It's a gun. What can I say? A regular goddamn murder weapon. You know how they are. Bang, bang. Trick question. I'm a martial artist. My entire body is one big gun. Look, I don't have it, alright? I don't have my gun. I'm gonna go, it's a gun. What can I say? A regular goddamn murder weapon. You know how they are. Bang, bang.
He says it's just a regular gun.
Sounds like he's being deliberately vague.
Detective Mullen has done it again. Where's my gun?
Dear God, he lost his gun. Oh my, I can't.
This isn't really a laughing matter.
Mac can face a giant of cocoa noodle by himself, but Disco here made him piss his pants.
Oh, I can't. Fuck. He lost his... Ask him if he's still got his wiener.
I'm not going to.
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over.
Now is a good time to say fuck and ass and so on. That'll make this all right.
I left it at his mama's after I fucked her ass all night. Tell him that.
That's a negative. Not going to say that. Over.
What's he saying? Share with the class.
He said he sodomized your mother.
The prick ate Mama's vanilla waffles at the captain's birthday party. Some nerve he's got.
Sure her vanilla waffles were the only thing he ate?
Shut up, Chester. This isn't funny. This is my mom we're talking about. Tell him to apologize right now.
Sergeant Orson requests that you apologize for the claims that you made about his mother.
Hey, if you don't like the fallout, maybe don't fuck with the Firewalker.
Mac, he says you shouldn't have antagonized the Firewalker in the first place.
Who?
The disbelief in Vic Meyer's voice is overwhelming.
Satellite Officer V.
Firewalker.
I'm afraid he might be referring to himself as Firewater, sir.
Firewater? He's lost it. Fuck it. Tell him to find his goddamn badge and gun. That's the only thing that matters.
Satellite Officer V.
I heard him. I'm on it.
10-4 affirmative. Officer is in pursuit of his firearm.
Oh God,
Officer, do you need further assistance? Over.
That's all for now.
Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
Well, that happened. So that is Disco Elysium. And that was the best natural conversation I've ever heard in a video game. And before that, it was the best natural conversation I'd ever read in a video game. So, yeah. That is why I want to make this playable for the blind. Well, that is why I want to do my part to make this playable for the blind. I demand everyone experience that hilarious conversation. Anyway, I think that will do for a deep dive for the accessibility. I'll go over it one more time. A controller tutorial so that people aren't confused, because holy crap, that is confusing. Keyboard rebinding key rebinding and controller remapping, because I mean, it's an accessibility mainstay to be able to rebind the keys. Font scaling across the board. A lot of the fonts need to be bigger. A lot of the fonts need to be, at the very least, the size of the biggest dialogue font option that you can get. Full narration. The lack of answer narration is very jarring, and then there's a couple of areas that just have no narration whatsoever, and that's weird as well. Especially if they're going to make it playable for the blind. Obviously, blind need to know what their choices are, what they're listening to, what each of the skills does, what your equipment does, all that crap. They need to know what that is, so there needs to be a way to give them that information. Switch the dialogue from left to right, right to left, wherever you are more comfortable with the dialogue being. Audio cues galore. There needs to be a ton of audio cues if the blind are going to be able to play this game. There needs to be pings whenever... Ooh! Thanks for the subscription, BP. I greatly appreciate that. There need to be pings for the bubbles. I know there's noises for when you get hurt. You know, morale and physical. So that's nice. Excuse me. Damn lungs. Let's see. A button to replay or narrate a section. That kind of goes without saying. skill summaries, explanation of gear, specific sections of dialogue, like if you miss something, like if you're talking to chat or something while the game is talking to you. At the very beginning of the game, possible pre-game launcher prompt, have option for narration or blind mode, because blind people need to be able to hear all the menu items so that, you can get into the options menu, tweak options, make characters, all that crap. As for console, I'd assume you just add it when the game starts. No worries, dude. Happy to do it. I am very appreciative, and I wish I had the money to donate to one of your endeavors, but unfortunately I really don't. Directional haptic feedback. So like the rumble in the 360 controllers and the PlayStation controllers, all that shit. Like if something is to the west for you, it would rumble on the right side or the left side. If it's to the east, it would rumble on the right side. If it's to the north or south, it would rumble on the north or south. I don't actually know if they have north or south rumble on these new controllers. These newfangled controllers with their weird haptic feedbackery. Fucking, for when you highlight something or something is automatically highlighted for you, if you guys decide to go that direction. Optional for the blind, obviously. Descriptional narration. Where are you? What is on screen? This is a rundown cafeteria. There's a person behind the counter to the northwest, and off to the west are a woman in a wheelchair and a man in a bomber jacket, for example, and so on and so forth. That's pretty much all I've got in terms of what can be added to the game to make it blind playable. Basically, blind people need to know what is being said, what the options are that they can choose. They need to know where they are in the world, what is out there in the world for them to interact with, and they need a way to interact with it. Well, you've already got the way to interact with it. You've got the controller support. That's done. Now the job would be to get everything else done. And I don't know if any of this is new, or if you guys are working on all this. I felt that I should try to coalesce my thoughts into something tangible that I could give you guys. Anyway, I have been Blind Ryan. I hope you enjoyed this. I will be going back to Mass Effect 2 and all of that stuff in a few minutes. So I will see you all next time.